Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of live interviews right here on TejanoKeyboard.com. Thank you very much for joining us here. Queremos enviar un saludo going out to everybody who's joining us here tonight. And you can find us here every Tuesday night from, I don't know when we usually end, but we start at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Today I'm wearing my Intocable shirt, Hecho en Texas. Every week I'm putting on some different shirts so you guys can see. Who knows? Maybe we'll start something if you guys have a shirt of a band or something you guys want to have me wear on camera or whatever. You guys can send it my way. I'll give you guys the information and maybe I'll start wearing shirts and advertising your whatever. But today we have one of my personal musical heroes growing up. None other than, well, first of all, I'm Rolando Revilla from TejanoKeyboard.com. I always forget to introduce myself. I'm such a terrible host. But this is a website that, you know, we try to talk as much as we can about anything related to Tejano keyboard, whether that be the theory or music or opinions, you know, just kind of like everything related to keyboard. And if you guys want to check out the website, again, that's TejanoKeyboard.com. For those of you who are watching on Facebook or watching on YouTube, be sure to check that out. You guys can make a donation there too if you guys would like. Also, there's private lessons for those who are interested in doing that sort of thing. But today we have none other than Mr. Jesse Flores Jr. Where is he? Here, let's see.
Can you see me?
Oh, there you are.
Hello, everybody. Bienvenidos para todos ustedes. Welcome to the TejanoKeyboard.com. De parte de mi primo, my cousin, Rolando Revilla. My name is Jesse Flores Jr. and I have my band called Jesse Flores y Escándalo. Okay, so you can look us up on YouTube. Also on my fan page, Jesse Flores y Escándalo. It's with a K, okay? Eskandalo. So look us up, and you can see our videos as well. So how's Michigan going on, and Ohio, and all that?
Well, it's not too bad, man. We did our little quarantine walk around our house. You know, we had dinner, and then we went for a walk, and, you know, because, no, hombre, si nomás estamos encerrados en la casa, nomás andamos como puercas, nomás comiendo y comiendo. I mean, I'm
ready to explode.
I mean, I'm a big dude to begin with, man.
Too.
¿Cómo?
No, we're quarantined too, and then, you know, just to go to the store, we gotta wear a mask and stuff like that, and was wearing a curfew time. So.
Oh, we got our first shout out right here. David Rodriguez Jr. from Grupo Deseo. He says, I'm sending you a Power Rangers shirt for you. So he's going to send me a Power Rangers shirt for you to wear. Hey, man, if you send it, I'll wear it. I'll let you know what size later. I'll message you.
Yeah, that's that. Inbox me.
Inbox me. Just let me put it to you this way: grande, extra grande, maybe extra grande, depending on if it's pre-shrunk or not. Well,
yeah.
So yeah, for those of you who aren't really familiar with Jesse Flores, let me talk about him a little bit. From Carlos Miranda to Emilio Navaira to his own band, Escándalo, and everything in between. He's played in overseas. Tejano Music Award winner, correct, for Best Keyboard Player, right?
Best Keyboard Player.
Awesome, yeah.
And
awesome. That was the golden age of Tejano music right there. And let's see here. Shout out also to Raul Bryant. It says, Saludos Rolando from Salt Lake City, Utah. Puro Tejano and proud. Wow. All right. So let's talk a little bit about how you got started into this whole music thing. I mean, I could probably share a little bit too, because I mean, I know you on a personal level, right? Porque somos primos, like extended primos, but we always call each other cuz and stuff like that. Well, we're related through the Ansalduas, right? The Flores and the Ansalduas are related through
we're all cousin related to the family. My dad is a musician all his life. And so I guess it just comes from, you know, la sangre, right? I mean,
right.
It's in the veins, you know. So when I was born, of course, I was introduced to a lot of music and stuff, and throughout the years, I started singing because that's what his main forte was, singing and playing accordion.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because of my dad. I mean, I looked up after my dad and showed me the ropes, showed me the old school stuff where we learn, like you have to know and respect the past, right?
Right.
Like your Conjunto Bernal, your Alegre Veteran, and all those old back that started everything. Because back then, they used to record in one mic, and you had to get it right. If you didn't get it right, not like now the technology we have is like, hey, record it once and they copy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want the essence of your voice, anyways. But yeah, I started real young. I grew up with a lot of mariachi as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to listen to Vicente Fernandez, Pedrito Fernandez. Remember La Mochila Azul? That's when I started off with stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I started singing in first grade, so that's how I started. And then eventually, I went to junior high. I was in band.
Mm-hmm.
I competed in a lot of UIL events.
That's right. You're a trumpet player, right?
Yeah, I was a trumpet player. Yeah.
There you go.
I started real young at 8th grade, and then I made the All Valley Band. I was third chair out of 160 people.
Wow.
So they eliminated to 12. Yeah, I became third chair. And then on my freshman year, I did the same thing but with jazz and everything. And then I was in the marching band. I did the solos all the time. So I was getting involved with all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I really learned how to play the piano by learning what I knew on the trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know how to read the piano music, the sheet music, but the trumpet music, yes. Mm-hmm. So I learned my primera, segunda, and tercera because of the alts.
Right.
Primera, first trumpet, second trumpet, third trumpet. Yep. I did it here on the keyboard. That's how I learned my chords. I didn't have no tutorial what we have now. Mm-hmm. And you can go to Google and tutorial and boom. So like, you have to learn everything or someone else, right? Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the way it started. And I was already playing and singing. Mm-hmm. I think when I was going to become a sophomore, I was 14 years old when I was performing with Carlos Miranda, the late Carlos Miranda. Yo tengo un amorcito que la quiero más que a mi vida. One of my other things. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but of course, I mean, all this because of my dad. Because I started off with my dad first, so he's the main guy. Then I started branching out. Carlos Miranda. Locally here, Fernando Salinas, mi compadre, he also was part of our group called Tex-Mex Cadillac.
That's right.
And he's with me now with Escándalo, playing guitar and singing with me.
Awesome.
So, big hello to Fernando Salinas, mi compadre. He had his band called Rio Style. Mm-hmm. So, Fernando Salinas, Rio Style. And then there, Isaac Bazan played with him.
Yep.
So, me and him, so Isaac and I started with Tex-Mex Cadillacs, which I'll get there. But after that, I went to Wally Garza, Su Sangre Tejano. Mm-hmm. And then there's some videos there in the archives of. You remember Aki Rogelio?
Yeah. He was like the Valley
archives.
Yeah, he was like the Valley Johnny Canales, right? Like he was.
There you go. Yeah, so everybody would go, and it was of course playback, but I mean.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what?
There,
I have a VHS somewhere. I have to dig it up, but of you and your dad jamming with Carlos Miranda on Johnny Canales back in like 91. Los ojos de mi negra.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that one. And then cuando llegue el momento de decirnos adiós. That was one of my favorite songs.
Oh, that's the jam right there, man.
Yeah. That was I think Helio Quintanilla. If I'm not mistaken, Helio Quintanilla wrote that.
Yeah, remember that sounds like his style. Yeah.
So that was him.
Yeah, he's the guy that wrote that one tune.
To Fandango USA.
Oh yeah, then you went to Fandango USA after that, right?
Yeah, the Caranga. Yeah, so I went with Fandango USA. I think that's when I started actually touring out, like out of the valley, state, Mm-hmm. But back then we didn't have our bus, and we would have to drive out there. So big hello to Valde Munoz. Valde Munoz was the director and the owner of the band.
Yep.
Hugo Guerrero. Yeah, he's one of my favorites too. I mean, that guy knew a lot about theory and chord structure and voicings. And I learned a lot from him as well. And just playing with those guys, I mean, they were, yeah, like they were known. Back in the 80s, like Fandango,
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember
absolutely.
Topacio, Arroyo Band, those are local acts here, right?
Yeah.
And then Gemma, Chaka Jimenez and Tough Band
Oh yeah.
with Jesse Serrata and the New
Yeah.
Wave Band. I mean, all these were here locally, and they ventured out. They had their, you know, trayectoria. So they already had their experience on the road and stuff. From Fandango, was I started recording and stuff like that, and then uh, Isaac went with Bobby Pulido,
Oh
and then he
yeah.
told me there was a chance to. Emilio was looking for a keyboard player,
Mhm.
and this was back in '96.
Mhm.
So I went to the Tejano Music Awards. Backstage, I talked to Emilio. Well, I actually talked to, his manager, Joe Casillas, at that time. And then he introduced Emilio. Yeah, man, can you try out? And I go, yeah. 'Cause I need to just go over the music. Can you come next week? I got to learn all the music. And he gave me 2 weeks. Can't just go in like that.
Right.
But at that time, he was doing the country tour. He was doing a country tour, and it was with Clay Walker, because he had done the Allen. He was filling the. He was already doing. I think it was already going to be done. It was the Alan Jackson tour.
Right.
So he was already getting done with that, and then he was going to start the 4-star blowout tour, which was Clay Walker, Terry Clark, James Bonamy, and Emilio. So we did all that, yeah. And I joined Emilio for almost 5 years. I did '97 all the way to 2001.
Wow.
So,
that's a long
and,
time, man. At least.
Yeah, and at that time there was it was more like of the record labels. Were changing. EMI didn't exist anymore. Capital EMI. Then it went to BMG, and then just Q Productions. Then back to this record label that he's in right now. Well, of course, Paz Descanse en Nevada, he passed away, right? But I did that. After the Emilio, I took a break from the Tejano scene and moved to California, and I started working at the dealership.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I became a service writer when I was just a walk-on boy. Hey, you have an appointment, all right, and I'll give it to the writer. And they switched me because I was bilingual. So I did Spanish and English. So I had both crowds. It was like, oh, wow. So that's what kept me. But it was too fast, man. I worked from 6 to 6. Then I had to do homework with the kids. And I lived in California for 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's it. And they came back to the Valley, and we started Tex-Mex Cadillacs.
Wow.
Tex-Mex Cadillacs.
And that was a really
And
powerhouse group right there, too. You guys had a lot of good hits,
Oh, thank you, cuz. But you know what? I believe we were starting something as far as like a trend, a different sound, because the Tejano wasn't where it's at,
Right.
And I guess we brought a little bit of a fresh sound, So we started arranging. I was thinking myself, and I did all the pre-production, and I was going, oh, let's change this or let's change that, and so we both did it together, and that's what became the Cadillacs. We did that for 4 years. When I left, and I was just tired. We were going out of the road and stuff like that.
Right.
But I guess my age was already getting up there.
Yeah.
So I started Gaslight Band, and I started working as a house band at a club called Gaslight. So we were Gaslight Band. New Variety Band. You guys remember New Variety Band?
Absolutely.
Well, Arturo and Agnes.
Yep.
Mis respetos a ellos, big calor, Arturo Gutierrez and Agnes Torres. They left, they went and branched out somewhere else, and then I took over. And then I did that also for 4 years, and I said, you know what, I gotta get back. I want to do weddings and all that private stuff. And that's where I'm at now. Jesse Flores, Grupo Scandalo. Of course, I did go, like you said, overseas. I went to Switzerland, at a neutral zone. It was called Zurich, so that's where we went.
Yep. Zurich is over there by, Zurich is by Geneva, right?
I'm sorry? Yeah.
Zurich is by Geneva, right? Geneva, Switzerland?
Well, actually, this is Zurich. Zurich. It was Stad. Gssattad.
Oh.
to them. Yeah, it was a neutral zone where there's no fighting, there's no bombs coming over or whatever. And we played in Big Tent. The reason we went out there, it was for a whole week. We saw the glaciers, we saw everything. We went up on cable rides. It was awesome. It was something I've never experienced. And
Wow.
I'm never going to forget that. And it was because I was with Emilio at that time that I was able to take that opportunity. And I want to thank my compadrito también, Juanito Navaira. He's compadre. He's doing good with his band as well. So big shout out to Raulito and all his family, Destiny, Rigo. Mi compadre Pete Ibarra también, he's watching. I text him our link.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
and everybody in the band, and if it was because of Emilio, I mean, I would have had that opportunity I'll tell you what, at 8 o'clock at night, everybody's shut down. It's like if we were quarantined, but the party was underground. Yeah, for real. So like stairs going down underneath the first level where you're living, and there's all the clubs in the bottom, man.
Really?
It was awesome. Yeah, it was nice. And what was so beautiful about all that place? It was clean. No paper wrappers, no beer cans, no Coca-Cola cans, anything. And of course, over there in Switzerland, it's about the Swiss. Swiss knives, Swiss cheese, and all that stuff.
Swiss chocolate.
So that Ricola, they are actually our brother. that long thing, no.
Yeah.
And they have the cow with the bells, and they can tell which is their cow by that ring of the bell. Yeah. So
Wow.
every cow has a certain size of a cowbell.
Wow.
So like this, small ones, they know which is their cow.
Yeah. Did they have nicknames
weird,
from like cumbia and merengue and? No, I'm just kidding.
Underground? No, for real. Underground.
Wow.
Underground. And when I started actually getting into the keyboards and stuff, a lot of it, what we call now karaoke, was sequence stuff that they had on their keyboard.
Right.
So they would play it and come out to the speaker. It sounded like a full band, Of course, you can tell the difference as far as if you're a musician, right?
Right.
But when you start drinking over there, that German beer, all that, because I thought, Portugal, I mean, you had Italy, you had German people, French. Paris was only 2 hours away.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, we were right in the neutral zone. And what we did out there, we played with Billy Ray Cyrus, Paul Grant, Kathy Mateo, Emilio, and we would open up and we had our sound checks and everything. It was just crazy.
Man, sounds like a good
over there,
job.
you didn't need an AT because at night it was cold. At night it was cold.
I bet.
All you do is open your windows. We had these colchotas this thick. It was awesome. I had a great experience. It was awesome.
That's awesome, Primo. We got some shout outs real quick. Kathy Mata says, "Hey Jesse, so good to see you. Can't wait to hear you, or can't wait to see you and you guys back on the stage. Take care, love you." And also she said, Tex-Mex Cadillacs, y'all have some great songs. So and now with Escándalo, you guys have your Yeah, and
I want to thank Kathy Mata. She's one of my great friends that I met through the Emilio days. And she's always been one of our biggest fans. So hello, Kathy, and all your family out there. I think you're in Austin, correct? I think she's in Austin. So big hello to Kathy Mata and all her family. And also hello to Rick, Rick Fuentes.
Oh, yeah, Rick
in
Fuentes.
Austin as well.
Yeah.
So he's a
Brown Express.
awesome friend. Hopefully he got my link. Hope he caught it, Rick.
Yeah, you know what?
So-
I need to get Rick on here. I think I'm going to get him on here sometime.
You should, man.
Not to
bad mofo.
He is, man. And here's the thing: is not to hijack that. I always do this, but this is how these conversations kind of lend themselves to like talking about different things, right? I was gonna start a series on my keyboard channel for piano accordion players, right? Because it's keyboard, right? And
Right.
so I started, and I did one episode. It was called Rick's Licks Volume 1 or Episode 1, and I only did one lick, and the lick was something like let's see, it was like a ver, I don't even remember what key it was in. Maybe it was like
Oh, yeah.
or something like that, or it's an F. So
Oh, man.
Yeah, se me olvidó, but you know, I go. Man, and I slowed it down and I did a whole tutorial on it. And then after that, I was like, nah, man. Hey, Kathy says yes, Austin. So you were right. Kathy Mata from Austin. Yep.
What's up, Kathy? Yeah, no. When I met Rick, I met him when I left Fandango. Well, a friend of mine joined, and then after my friend left, he joined. And a big shout out to Roger Pena. You know Roger Pena?
Oh yeah.
He played accordion with Jennifer and the Jets.
Yep.
And he also played accordion with Jimmy Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Jimmy Gonzalez.
Hey, you know what? Not too long ago, he was out this way. I think like 2 years ago or maybe last year with Temerarios. He was playing guitar, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm in Grand Rapids." I was like, "What's he doing?"
He was my roommate, but he left. He was my roommate.
Okay,
but
right on.
He's with Los Fugitivos.
Los Fugitivos, right? Not Los Temerarios. I'm sorry. Yeah. Los Fugitivos. Loca. What's that? Diabla, right? The Diabla.
I don't know if they sang it. I think maybe they did. But I don't. That one could be also the Temerarios.
That's Fugitivos, I think. Well, that doesn't matter.
You're right. I'm lost a little bit, but yeah, you're right.
What? Something like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, man. Big hello to Roger Pena, man.
Yeah.
We just did some serenatas not too long ago.
Oh, yeah?
And we're trying to see if we can do the Mother Day serenata, so that's what I'm working on, because I got to call the county to get a stamp and approval that we can be out there as long as there's no more than 10 people. But because we have a curfew at 10 o'clock at night, we don't know if we can still work. But that's our essentials, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We need that to pay bills.
Yep.
But yeah, big hello to Roger. He's watching. He's doing it now. He's out there touring like internationally, Brazil, I mean, they go out, man. They're out for a month, sometimes 3 weeks, sometimes 2 months. So, my hands go to him because it's hard to do that right now.
Yeah, and you know what? Such a talented guy to be able to switch styles too, to go from Tejano to tropical, or not tropical, grupero or whatever they
Yep. Yeah, no, that's hard. And then I'm glad that he knows all the instruments. If I ever need somebody and he's off, he can come and help me out.
Hey, you know what I call that? You gotta give me
2 hours to go back to Tejano.
Yeah, it's not just like riding a bike. You have to kind of like get back into the swing of things. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was gonna man, se me fue la onda. I was gonna say something about. Oh, you know what I call that? I call that job security. The more instruments you know how to play, you always have jale, man. You always have work.
Hey, you need a accordion player? I'm there. Hey, you need a bass player? I'm there. Hey, you need a guitar player? I'm there. Hey, you need a drummer? I'm there. Hey, you need a maintenance man? I'm there.
You need a roadie, light technician?
A roadie, yeah. Oh, before I forget, you know how you were talking about licks with Rick Fuentes? Yeah. Well, Hugo used to show me a little because he used to play the accordion piano. I mean, he still plays the accordion piano. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to do that. My props to Hugo también, I respect them as well, also to Rick Fuentes. But let's see if I remember. Stuff like that, I mean, I will learn.
Yeah, yeah. Stuff that, yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like stuff that Rick
showed me the different inversions, like.
Yeah.
Remember those old songs?
Yeah. With like the cluster sort of chords?
Oh, wow. Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's that. ¿Quién te dice que no te quiero yo a ti?
Yeah. That was one of my favorite songs too.
Yeah, that's the jam right there. Tú eres mi luna, mi sol. Dude, I used to love that song, dude. And you know what? I talked to Hugo not too long ago because we were talking about doing one of these, right? And we just kind of lost communication and stuff. But, that reminds me, maybe I need to reach out to him again because, a lot of people associate, and like, well, you were there, right, with Fandango. Like, people automatically associate Fandango with, like, charanga and cumbia music, right? But there was a long history before La Charanga of like good Chicano rancheras. You know what I mean? Acariciame, da 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 da. All those tunes were bad jams, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, when I also said,
Hey, when you were there, were you guys doing any of that older like ranchera stuff?
farolero.
Oh yeah.
Gaviota. Yeah, it was. I like that song.
Man, those were all really good jams, man.
Remember?
Huh?
Gary Guajardo did that. No tengo dudas
que tú. Da, 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 da. Yeah.
Hugo did it, and then Jay Pettis did it.
Yeah. Yeah, all three versions were really good. I do have to say though, just me being partial, right? My favorite one's the Gary Guajardo one, where he goes, he does some crazy licks, and then.
As a matter of fact, I just saw him on New Year's Eve. We played out there. Yeah. Actually, I helped out Chris Rodriguez. Big hello to Chris. What's up, Chris?
Oh yeah.
Tejano Highway 281.
He was the first guy I interviewed on these things, man.
I went just to secure the vocally because I think his vocals was a little sick, so he wanted to make sure that you got the night through. And we opened up for Rick Fuentes that night.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, it was a New Year's Eve bash, and Gary Guajardo was there, Valde Munoz de Pandango was there, and of course Mike Flores. You know, everybody was celebrating the New Year's Eve. So it was awesome.
That's awesome, man. And you know, and that's crazy because like a lot of people associate Tejano music, I think, right, with like San Antonio, but I grew up listening, like, of course, like I appreciate like the Jay Perez and the David Lees and stuff like that, but like when I grew up, I listened to like Arroyo Band, Sereno, like those, like the Valley has like a completely different onda, man. Like it's like, and no disrespect to anybody, right? Because like each area has their own sort of sound, whether it be Houston or whatever. But to me, the Valley always sounded real alegre, real just like.
Ya no llores más, ya no sufras más, vente conmigo. No soportes más a su corazón que te haya ofendido. No saber cómo hacerte, ni siquiera darte un poco de cariño. Solo la amargura es lo que deja de tu vida entera. That's one of my favorite Arroyo Band.
Yeah, Arroyo Band, man. That was the jam, man. It really was. You know what? They had some other really good tunes. I can't even think of the names of them. You know what I mean, right off the bat. But like, when I was down there in October, I went to go visit my family in the Valley, and shout out going to Mando San Roman, another keyboard player from Sereno, and also radio DJ there at the what is it? 102.1. There you go, 102.1, and they were playing some Arroyo Band there, and man. It was just like, man, these songs are jams.
I don't know. I might mess it up, but do you remember this song? They also did it. Yo no sé por qué te sientes hoy tan diferente. No quieres nada con la gente. ¿Qué será? You know, stuff like that. Did the quinceañera song.
Yeah. Hey, I want to send a shout out going out to Michael Ibarra, who's joining us here, right here from Toledo, Ohio. Ivani Fuego in the house. Shout out going out to them. And you know what? You came out here. You know what? We kind of got off topic a little bit, but you came out here with a different band that you had in between Escándalo and Cadillacs, right? You had the Tejano Dogs. Remember that?
The Tejano Dogs, which became the Gaslight Band, of course. So it was actually the Gaslight Band, but we didn't have the name yet.
Right.
Tejano Dogs was just something that, you know, was good. Because everybody was adding dogs or Tejano this or Tejano that, you know. So I did Tejano Dogs.
Yeah, and we were able to do a show together here in Ohio, right?
Sylvania, right?
In Sylvania, Ohio. Yeah, shout out to Mark Garcia, who used to do all the Tejano FM stuff down at the Centennial Terrace.
Bigelow, man. And
Yeah.
also to you, cuz, I mean, you put a production from hell.
Thank you. I
You did
appreciate
an awesome
that.
production, man.
Thank you.
We didn't even have to do anything. We're just like, okay. And it was cordless. That's what I was freaking out.
And you know what? I can't take full credit for that because there was a really whenever we would do those shows at the Centennial Terrace, there was a big crew, man. They would be the guys from Touch Audio who did the lighting and well, they would do some of the lighting. It was kind of like a hybrid because with the band I previously used to play with, the Tejano Sound Band, Johnny Vasquez, shout out to them from Lansing, Michigan. They would set up the majority of the stuff. You know what I mean? I'd say probably about like 60 to 70% of the stuff was theirs, and then because they bought their equipment from Touch Audio, when Touch Audio would go and they would bring extra to, you know, because the Centennial Terrace was just a massive venue. It's still there. They're not really doing anything Tejano these days. Somebody started doing some stuff there a few years back. Hopefully they'll keep doing it, man, because it was a beautiful dance floor, especially like a nice summer night, just to be under the stars listening to some good music. That was a good venue, man, and that was a good show. And your dad got to jam with you too, Tio Chewy, man. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad, man, he's the artist of my upbringing as far as learning all that styles of music, because if it wasn't for him, and then all those
and you know what? And let me butt in for a second. I was gonna say, and I'm not just saying this because you're here, right? But your dad and you were kind of like a major influence on and not just you, the whole Flores family, because your uncle Rudy, Tio Rudy Flores, used to make the dances out there in Shelby, Michigan.
He used to be a promoter.
He used to be a promoter in Shelby, Michigan, and that's where I grew up. Actually, that's where I was born, was in Shelby, Michigan. And he would bring all these bands every Saturday to the Shelby Pavilion. It was like this. For those of you, I mean, you guys aren't going to be familiar with it, but basically what it was the hall from hell because the acoustics were terrible. I used to love it because I didn't know any better.
That art.
But it was basically an old airplane hangar that was left over from one of the wars, and it was just like a big half circle. It used to be a skating rink, and it was just a big empty can. And the Elliots there, La Familia, well, I say La Familia, the Elliott family used to own it there. Yeah. They had a skating on during the day, and then at night they would have, they would rent it out for weddings or whatever. But your Tio Rudy had and it kind of like an exclusive deal there, and he would bring a bunch of bands, man, some from Texas, and it didn't even matter. I mean, the majority of the time they were like Tejano or Conjunto, right? But de vez en cuando they would bring somebody who's like Tropical or Banda or whatever, because people there in Shelby really didn't discriminate. But I've digressed. So
the Mafia went out there.
Yeah, man. Emilio went out there before you joined them. They went out there to Valdu Lakes and
in '95. Ozzy Osbourne was at Valdu Lakes.
Yeah, man. I
remember.
I'm telling you, there was a lot of great music out there. Huey Lewis and the News was out there at Valdu Lakes, and but at any rate, I remember, and I used to think it was like so amazing because when I listen to this music like on cassettes, right, and I see like Mas and La Mafia and there's this whole like allure to, or like this whole, I don't know how to explain it, but like, oh, these guys are from Texas, you know what I mean? And being from the Midwest, then you grow up with that. That's kind of like embedded in our DNA, where our family's like, oh, everything's better in Texas. The food's better, the music's better, whatever, right? I have my own opinions of that now, grown up, but at the time when I was little, I'm like, oh man,
South Texas food, baby. I compared to Michigan.
Es todo, man.
What's this red meat?
Right? Y deja tú, so then I would get all excited when Tio Chewy would come and play because he was from Texas, man. Los Faraones de Texas, and they would play out in Hart, Michigan, and so like I grew up listening to it. Bobby Salinas played with Dos Gilbertos and all those cats. I heard that his son was doing some music too.
Well, he used to be my guitar player and second vocalist Gaslight Band.
Oh, right on.
Bobby Jr. Yeah, but he was working as one of like a lieutenant for Metro, for the college, the cops.
Yep.
So that's what he was doing. Mm-hmm. But he was able to, come and play in the weekends because, it was he worked during the day, but at night he could. But he had to be at work at 5 in the morning. Work done at 2. By the time you unwind, dude, seriously, all you musicians know. By the time you unwind, it's already like 6, maybe 6:30 in the morning. You're finally going to sleep. This guy had to be at work.
Yeah, man. You know, and that's the thing is that like the adrenaline from doing the show, man. You can't just like, okay, it's time to go to sleep, to shut it off, right? You sometimes you're hungry. You guys go out as a band and go and get a bite to eat after the show,
Yeah,
and
you're right.
you know,
And then that food still like,
yeah, that is true, man.
I used to be this big, man, but I bought diabetes over the counter, and so you want to get skinny, that's what you got to do. I'm just kidding. Now I run to my family, man. That's one thing about me, and I'll let y'all know. I am diabetic, type 2. I do have high blood pressure and stuff, so that's kind of what brought me down to touring again or going out of state a lot. And I'd rather just be, you know, local or just more or less, you know, the hours, you know, not too far.
And
but
not
if
only
I have
that,
to go out of state, I would have to fly out.
Right. And not only that, but you've done it, man. Like you've experienced it. You know, you've played overseas, you know, you've
Right.
toured and stuff like that. So, you know, nobody can take that away from you, you know what I mean? And to be able to be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm happy with just, you know, being
Where I'm at, yeah.
Yeah, being where
No,
you're at.
I agree with you. I agree with you very much.
Mhm.
And again, the music's still trying to get up there again, and it's hard, man, because we got all hours of music. And now, I believe that as far as budget-wise, anywhere, you know, it's hard to get te agarre una compañía, like in other words, a recording label.
Right.
They have a lot of demands, man.
Mhm.
So if you don't sell whatever, boom, you're off the label, or you don't do this or do that, you know.
Mhm.
And you got to do a lot of free concerts and stuff for the label, and you know, so your band members start going like, hey, we're not getting paid, we're not doing this. That's your side, your personal problem, not
Right.
the label. The label's trying to help you, but you know, we're not where it used to be.
Right.
Back then, the label will back you up 100%. You know,
Yeah.
now it's hard.
And you know, and I think a lot of that might have to do too with just the way that the industry has changed. Like, you know, these
Oh, yeah.
days, like people aren't buying albums anymore; they're buying singles. You know what I mean? So, sometimes, you know, bands have decided to either cut down on the amount of songs that are on an album, knowing that people aren't going to purchase that, or sometimes they, you know, put out albums less frequently, you know what I mean, every 3-4 years or something like that, just because, you know, the whole industry has changed, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, all this the social media stuff that you can download and all those apps you can buy for 99 cents instead of buying the whole CD. You can pick your favorite songs, you know. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
If
Now-
you're trying to produce a product out there so you can sell and buy and have merchandise, and they don't want, as far as that CD merchandise, they'll just go to and buy it online.
Yeah, at the Pulga for
But, yeah, remember the parody?
parody. Dígale no a la piratería.
Man, I was making a bunch of money off of that. Kidding.
Pirating my own CDs. Like, this is my band right here.
No, man, it's changed a lot, and I hope it changes in the future.
Mm.
So that now that John Lopez is out too, I think he was recording. I'm not too sure. I haven't heard a single or anything, but hopefully he's going to be doing well again, and maybe that might bring another spark to change the Tejano industry again.
Yeah, and actually, a quick little plug. If you guys keep watching these interviews, I have interviews booked up all through next month, and one of the people that I will have on will be Ben Ramos from Joe Lopez y Grupo Mas. Well, his current keyboard player, and believe it or not, Primo, he's related to me. he's my.
He related to me then? No, but he's on your side of the family.
Yeah, well, he's actually my wife's first cousin.
Oh, okay.
So he's primo through marriage, but he's my wife's cousin. So But anyways, we'll talk about that's for that interview.
Yeah,
that's not for this interview.
Hey, but big hello to him, man. He's awesome. He's an awesome keyboard.
Ben, a good accordion player, good keyboard player. I want to send a quick shout out going out to Fanzo Hernandez. It says, "What's up, dude?" So shout out going out to Mr. Hernandez que nos está acompañando. Thank you for checking out the interviews and stuff like
What's
that.
up, brothers?
So, cuz, talk to me. So you said like recently, right? You're just kind of doing more singing and not so much playing. But in the off chance that you do actually play, like, what do you take on the road with you? Like, what keyboard setups are you using? What sounds are like? Talk to me a little bit about what you guys do. And you know what? As a matter of fact, this is one thing that we haven't really talked about because we've never really been in that position to talk about it. But like with your band, you being the director and the manager and everything of your band, do you guys take your own production? Do you guys have your own production, or do you guys rent that out? And how does take us through kind of like what you guys do a little bit, to get...
Actually, like when we go set up stuff, I mean, I'm a Korg guy, so all my keyboards are Korg. I have a TR Korg, the Trinity, and then I have this new one that I just got. This is more like a professional arranger where you can go produce stuff. But I use sounds and I layer my sounds. I use the sounds that the factory has, but then I fine tweak them. Mm-hmm. Like the brass, I'll thin them out a little bit with a lower one, and then add a little light string in the back. So that's my sound. So that's you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And my keyboardist and accordion player, which you know him, and he knows all the instruments too. George Ochoa, big hello to George Ochoa. He brings his sound. I rent sound for him. I'm from him.
Okay,
so
right on.
Even though he still plays with us, he has all the speakers. And once in a while, because we do a Cadillac gig, because the next Cadillacs, I mean, we try to do anything we can, but the majority of the gigs that we're doing, because majority of the band that I have is, we do the Cadillac stuff.
Right.
So he uses George's sound. He rents the system from George, lights, everything.
Right.
So we have everything, all the background, and that's who we use. But as far as the Texas Cadillac, we do a lot of the private gigs, all together.
Awesome.
So, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, and when we have to go open up for a bigger band and stuff like that, of course, we just plug in and play.
Right. Right. And those are always the fun ones where you just show up and you just do your thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I just pull out the contract and say, audio provided.
So when you guys do your own shows, right, do you guys take your own engineer, or are you doing some of the engineering from stage, or how does that work out?
Yes. Yeah, I managed to charge, what it is for me to pay George. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to have another band because I'll give them a little extra. So I'll charge that part also. Okay, even though I'll tell them, don't worry about it. You guys can just plug in and play. Mm-hmm. But I'll take care of George.
Mm-hmm. And so right now in your band you have George and you have Fernie.
Fernando, yeah.
Yep. So are you guys working on any new material and stuff, or are you guys just kind of?
I have the CD already done. Mm-hmm. I'm just mastering right now, and then I'm gonna go get it replicated.
Awesome.
And then hopefully by next month, but right now because of all the coronavirus and. Guys, I'm sorry. As a musician, it's very hard for us because this is what we do for a living. Absolutely. I don't have a real job, so I do this. I'm a weekend warrior, and that's where I make my living. I've been off since March the 13th, so it's like, eee. But now do serenatas here and there, and they'll hire us for hours. I'll take the keyboard. We'll do a three-piece. Mm-hmm. Of course, with the regulations, it has to be 10 and under. Mm-hmm. But other than that, we just did a little birthday. It was only 5 of them and 3 of us. So that's 8, And we did it within the curfew time.
Oh, that's good.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we still got paid. I mean, we still got to pay bills.
Mm-hmm. And so tell me a little bit about the Tejano scene in the Valley, because I know the inevitable question of is Tejano music dying, or is it on the downswing, or however you want to put it, right? It's obviously right. It's obviously not in the same arena as it was in the 90s and stuff like that. But I feel a sense of it kind of being back on the upswing again. I mean, do you feel that too? That there's a little bit more of a what's the word I'm looking for? There's a little bit more of a call for Tejano music in the Valley again.
Well, you still have your Tejano lovers. I mean, that been Tejano all the way since back in the David Lee, Ram, Emilio Days, and stuff. They're still out there. But I just recently started getting, that feel what you're saying that the Tejano's coming back up. And I'm sorry I have to say, but I mean, ever since Joe Lopez started touring his tours, I believe there was a lot of fans that, hey, let's go out, go check out Tejano's thing. Bobby Pulido's still around. He's doing his stuff. We got all these new cats that are coming as well. I mean, all these new artists, my hat's off to them because it's hard. And you can't just give up. You got to keep on going. I know that the style of music has changed. Back then it was all about keyboards. Now it's just accordion. Now you got your Jesse Turners, Ada Reina also. I mean, she's keeping up, with what's going on, and she's doing well as well. Piccolo de La Reina, Ada Reina, and Jesse Turner as well. I mean, guy, he started from the ground zero, and look where he's at now.
Yeah,
so,
and that's a really interesting thing, and and we've kind of talked about this on this channel too. Is that and maybe you can give me a little bit of your input on this, but the whole reason I think that there's less of the onda,
they're all from the valley.
Yeah, but I think the reason that there's less of the onda with the keyboard, it's not because not because that style has faded. It's because, you see, with accordion players, it's something that's like an heirloom. Like my grandpa played accordion and he taught me, or something like that, right? Or my dad played accordion or bajo sexto, and so like those traditional instruments get passed on, but nobody's passing on keyboard. Nobody's showing the next generation how to play chords or anything like that, and so that's why I kind of started this channel, is because I feel like this onda still has like some life in it, you know what I mean? And like you have to show people how to play, the chords and whatnot, or keyboards in general.
I just feel that at our generation, and I believe it's kind of like our fault. We're not when we were playing, when I was with Emilio and stuff, we saw something going on. People wanted to cross over, right? Like Emilio wanted to do country, Selena wanted to do the R&B or hip hop, and after that, then the cumbia things came out. Bobby Pulido, Intocable, Marco Salgado, and try to come back to the scene, like it wasn't the same anymore.
Right.
And to me, like you were saying right now, the traditional stays, right? Like the accordion is never gonna die. Like you're saying, nobody's introducing the keyboard, right? Like you're saying, you're right. But the keyboard took over the orquesta. You very have few, Aviso, Ruben Ramos, and some other Little Joe, and they're still accompanied by the keyboard, but it's not as strong as that used to be back then. You don't have that many players as well either.
Right.
Do you remember back in the day, Tortilla Factory, Sun and Sons, Agustin Ramirez, Freddy Martinez? I mean,
and you know what? To me, I feel like that one does coming back too. I mean, look at La 45. They're all young guys. They're younger than me. They're all like in their 20s and early 30s, and they're like jamming like old school, and like that's good, man, because of that. And
that horn section was Little Joe's horn section.
Exactly, yeah. Shout out going out to John Ontiveros, a good friend of mine. We've worked together in the past. We also have a shout out. It says, "Yo, what's up, Jess? It's Matt Flores." So
hey, what's up, man?
So
been a long time.
Yeah. Hey, so what's your favorite song to play in a night? Like when you go and play a show and you're like, you're waiting for the one song. What song do you like to play?
Oh man, that's not fair. What
so what are like your top 5 like songs that you go to that you're like, man, this is my rola, like we have to jam this song?
Well, I do the Emilio tribute. I have the Naciste para mí y El Rey de Amor. Okay?
Rey de Amor.
I do those two together. And then another favorite of mine is the Hot Stepper, Nick Muzi. And now I'm getting out of sidetrack. Na 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 na.
Right on.
Here comes the hot step, I do that one, and that gets the crowd. Well, all the single ladies out there.
Hey,
Hear that?
hey, that reminds me. You released an Emilio tune, right? Mal Desprecio, right?
Oh yeah, that's the one I record. Yeah.
Yeah, you released that one. Mal Desprecio, nos separamos aquella vez.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are
It's
some
been a
other
while.
like? So you say you do like an Emilio tribute. Is there what other songs you did? You did a really good rendition of Indiferente too. That was a modest tune, right?
It was a mod. Yes. It was a no. It was actually David Maris
Yeah,
with Joel Guzman.
that's right. Another great keyboard player. Yep.
Yeah,
Hey
that
man,
was back in the '90s, man.
absolutely. Hey man, do you want to play a little bit for us and sing or whatever? You'll have it set up, right?
Por un mal expreso nos separamos ya de ayer. Por un mal expreso no te he visto ya que llamé. Me espanta, por eso sufro por ti. Te ruego que vuelvas a mi lado, no puedo sin ti. ¿Qué voy a hacer sin tus besos? ¿Qué voy a hacer sin tu amor? ¿Qué voy a hacer sin tus caricias? Me moriré de dolor. ¿Qué voy a hacer sin tu beso? ¿Qué voy a hacer sin tu amor? ¿Qué voy a hacer sin tus caricias? Me moriré, me moriré.
Dang, man. That's awesome, man. I love it. I love it.
That was one of my favorites from Emilio,
Yeah.
but I changed it. So
Yeah. Kathy Mata says, yes, yeah, your tribute to Emilio is awesome. Love you for doing it.
oh
So,
yeah, she's been there. She's heard it.
yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Hi,
Yeah.
Kathy. Thank you for being one of my big friends and back in the Emilio days. So she was always following us around as our biggest fan, and always there. Never missed a beat.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I want to say something. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it. This is your time, man. Go ahead.
This, my opinion. Okay, this is just me. I just believe that the creativity is not there anymore, and that's why I feel sometimes like the Tejano is not like. They say I did this song. I still did it Tejano in ranchera like immediately, but I changed the sounds. I changed the rhythm and the melody.
Mm-hmm.
That's Emilio's, right? That's me. So I changed everything. I think that's the creativity. It's like let's say, remember what I was talking about Conjunto Bernal?
Yep.
With the Tex-Mex Cadillacs? La distancia entre los dos es cada día más grande, right?
Mm-hmm.
De tu amor y de mi amor no está quedando nada. That's Conjunto Bernal.
Yep.
And when I went to that part, de tu amor y de mi amor no está quedando nada. Conjunto.
Yep.
I did it, conjunto. So I changed it.
You know what?
So that's what I mean by creativity.
The band I used to play with before, Tejano Sound, Johnny Vasquez, and then we used to cover that tune the way you guys used to play it like that, and that was one of the Conjunto tunes that like would always get people dancing, man. Yeah. And,
well, I want to send a big shout out to Lucky Joe because he did our Conjunto, the first 2 CDs of the Tex-Mex Cadillacs.
Oh, right
before
on.
Before he signed with Freddie. So now he's exclusive with Freddie, but before he had this level of frijoles.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, that's another.
he did our Conjunto stuff.
Yeah.
And Gizmo, Victor Guillermo Garcia, compadre of mine, he did our Tejano of the accordions, and when he got known with the flutter,
Mm-hmm.
he does all that. And also I had Frankie Cavero Sr., which is my cousin on my ex-wife's side. Um, he does a lot of my arrangements. And if you go to YouTube, my latest recording from this new CD that's coming out is there. It's called Para que lastimarme, Jesse Flores y Escándalo. You'll find it there. That's my latest right now at this point.
And you know what?
And
There's a lot of Frankie's family out this way because
Indiana.
In Indiana, shout out going out to Joe.
South Bend.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, Joe, that's his brother.
Yeah,
Joe.
Yeah, you know, because us being from the Midwest, we play this circuit, right? We make it out to South Bend every once in a while, and you know we run into the Caballero family out there, and Joe's always been a big supporter of the music, so shout out going out to him. I don't know if he's watching, but if not, these will be on YouTube until the end of time, so he can watch it later. I'll tell him, hey man, we were talking about you. It was all good though. And
and big shout out also to Frankie Jr. I mean, he has his band as well. Yeah, Frankie Caballero Jr. So he's doing also good, and he's come a long way as well. And he has a unique voice, and that's what I think I'm trying to say. Also, I mean, there's only certain people that sound like others, and then there's those signature voices that there's nobody but you know.
Right.
And I feel Frankie's that way. Ricky Guzman, Niccolo Ricky Guzman in All Stars.
Yep. He
has a voice, but man, he sings awesome. And
dude, your pops, man. Your dad. You know what? Your dad and like Mayel and all those guys, like when they start singing, like they start harmonizing with each other.
Yesterday, we're playing cards yesterday. We're playing poker. And we brought out the El Orgullo, my uncle, and my dad. Cuando era yo jovencito, mi mamá me decía, ay, niñito. We did all those, man. And I see a cappella, of course, but, you know, we're playing cards. And that's his way of cheating and bluffing. And by him singing, he throws us off. You know what I'm saying? So we forget to bet or ask for more cards. Cheating out, tío. No, pero no están poniendo que he started a little bit. No están poniendo atención ustedes.
Yeah, and también our cousin Smiley también, he used to be on the road with you too when you guys would, you know, go out.
Yeah, he's my neighbor. He lives across the street. Yeah, he's a big little Smiley. My tío Pins here, Kool-Aid.
Right on. Yeah.
He lives here in Edinburgh.
Wow, man, I remember all of them from, you know, back in the day when everybody would go to Shelby or Oceana County and you know, do the seasonal work and whatnot. And I always look forward to the summers, man, and listening to all that great music, you know, especially when, you know, people would come up and you know, some families would stay in Shelby or in Hart, you know, that area, and then they would migrate. But a lot of families stayed, like, you know, my family, you know, I was born and raised in Michigan, and, you know, but... And
I was born in Michigan, too. I was born in Hart.
Really? I didn't know that. You were born in Hart?
Yes, sir. Oceana County.
There you go. A home of the Pirates.
The hospital don't exist anymore, though.
What was that?
I go, the hospital's not there anymore.
No, you know, and that's crazy because Hart, it was like it's the county, like, center, you know, that's where they have the sheriffs. Like, I'm telling you guys, for you guys who have never been out there, there's two things about it. It's super, super slow pace, and it's beautiful scenery. Like, there's nothing to do but go to the lake or go on the sand dunes.
And we have so many to choose from.
I
Stony
know.
Lake, Silver Lake, Crystal Lake.
Yep.
Remember over there, which one was it when it has the stairs that go down?
Oh, you're talking about like the oval out there in Stony Lake? Like where you go into Lake Michigan?
You got Michigan Lake, Stony Lake,
Silver
Crystal Lake, and then Silver Lake where the dunes are at, and then Mapacao on Deer Road.
Oh, Crystal Lake.
Is it Crystal Lake?
Yeah, and you know what? My actually, when I was real little, like I only remember through pictures and through stories, but my family actually lived on a cottage right on, right on Crystal Lake. Wow. It was like between Hart and Shelby. It was right there. Yeah,
man, it was awesome, man.
Yeah. And the campos were out there. You know what I mean? Like the little campos from where the farmers used to have like the housing for.
They got the barracas.
The barracas.
The barracas, yeah, my uncle used to own them back then.
Yep.
Tío Lalo. Of course, that's the way the late Tío Lalo. So, yeah, I was right there on Mears.
And yeah, Mears. Yeah.
Here in Mears. And then we had the Krantz, Dave Krantz. He had his trailer, mobile homes.
Yeah.
And then we also had the Walsworths.
Yeah, and you know what?
The Farragut, the Ferry.
That just goes to show you, man, that like it's crazy how our music has transcended over distance and generations and stuff like that. Because like when you talk about Tejano music and you're like, hey, this is Texas music, right? But there's really influences of everything. It's like we talked about this, and I forgot which interview, but like Tejano music to me is the only other genre of music that's exclusively American. Like people say jazz is the only kind of music that's American made because rock comes from Europe and country music comes from Europe también, and you know, but jazz was made right here. But what people don't understand is that I don't think we really get credit for it, is that Tejano music is a uniquely American made music, and you know, and we bring some of that Midwest influence and whatever, you know, we listen to everything. Oh, but before I get back to asking you questions, want to send a shout out going out to Raul Nano Fuentes, who says, "Compa Jesse, compa."
Hey, what's up, Raul?
He says,
"Where's in Detroit? After Detroit."
Yeah, he says, "What's up, or no? Where's Leon?" I think he's referring to Roger.
Oh yeah, Roger. He's not here, man. He moved.
Yeah, and also shout out going out to one of my best friends, man, a brother from another mother, Jesse Flores, Jesse Herrera, who's listening in from Austin, Texas. Shout out going out to him. He says he's been there. I took him out there to Shelby so he could go and see all that stuff out there. So that's
you didn't take him to Brown Bear, did you?
I don't remember if I took him to Brown Bear or not. I don't remember. I mean, it's been years and years ago. Do you remember the Bear Burger? I mean, listen, I don't eat that anymore because I've been vegan for a couple years now. But for those of you who still partake in eating, you know, animal products, the Brown Bear has what is it, like a 1 pound burger or something like that? It's huge.
It's like the Bud Ruckers now.
Yeah.
Or the Big Daddy burgers where they're like a pound burger or a pound and a half. Dude.
Wow, man.
I used to eat a lot, man. I can't no more. I'm no good for buffet either. One plate, that's it.
Yeah, but you know, and you know, that's the one thing, man, is that like it out there in the rural communities like that, like there was only a few things to do. You could eat, you could go out to the lake, or you could play music, right? And so that's what we used to do, man, is play music. I mean, we never really got a chance to play music together, right? Because you guys were always either traveling back and forth or I was too young or whatever. But
right.
Jesse Herrera does say, yes, I did take him to the Brown Bear. So
there you go.
Yeah.
I went to Tijuana when we got there when we were supposed to do the Sylvania gig the next day. But we were a day early, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't have anything going on that day. And so we got there at 10 in the morning, and then I told Smiley, don't take the band over, don't be drinking, whatever. No, I'm in fail because they say we're going to have dude, I just gotten out of the shower. It's only been 1 hour that we're there. Long Island teas and shots, Long Island teas and shots. Oh, man, this dude. And then we went to the Silver Lake where you have to climb that big dune.
Yep.
You get to climb it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody felt.
No, hombre.
Everybody got salmon, you know where. I was fun, man. It did, dude. I sort of got, because it's a high dune, so you're rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling, dude.
Yeah.
But, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun when you get to travel, and that's what I enjoyed in that. I want to thank the Familia Navarra for giving me that opportunity because it was with them, and of course the Cadillac. But I mean, it's a difference in the Cadillac and Emilio because of course we were on a bus with Emilio and stuff like that, and we were told we'll be able to get out. And I missed the per diem, Raulito. We used to get paid extra. You know, you get your check plus the per diem, and anyways, I just thought I'd put that out. That sounds stupid. Cadillacs, we would just travel, get to the place, get to the hotel, place, they will fly out. So there was not to see the scenery, you know?
Right.
I miss that a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't really get a chance to, or that people don't understand about musicians. They're like, man, you guys go a lot of places, you guys see a lot of cities, but in reality, man, like when you're touring like that, you see more hotel rooms and more clubs than anything else. It's like dark or road,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
And you know, it takes a certain mindset for that lifestyle, I think, you know.
Yeah, and you're right. It's like when we used to fly in from San Antonio to Vegas. Well, yeah, but all you're seeing is casino. That's it, and it's the same thing. I mean, it's a hotel with casino. We didn't get a chance to go see some shows. You know, the David Copperfield or Ben and Teller. I wanted to see those, but we didn't get a chance. Because when when I was with the country tour with Emilio, our performance was at 7:30. You know, and we only did a 23-minute set. And then the other band did 45 minutes, the other band did an hour, and then Clay Walker an hour and a half. You know? So after our performance, then we would check out the other bands or whatever, or backstage, or we would leave back to go gamble. That's it. So what did you go do?
Yeah.
You know, that's not. Get at the buffet.
Right, and you know what?
But other than that,
and I don't know if this is true everywhere, but I've talked to some musicians who actually do like casino circuits where they play around casinos. But if you're performing at that casino, you can't like drink on the job or gamble there or whatever. Is it like that in Vegas too, or is that a different onda?
that you can't drink?
No, not that you can't drink. You can't drink there because technically you're an employee of the casino. Is that how it used to be over there in Vegas, or is that a different thing?
Nah.
Man, because there's some casinos here in Michigan and stuff. And shout out, well, I'll put him on blast. I don't care. But my good friend Augie Martinez, who's actually the original singer of my band Motivo, he plays in another band where they do top 40s and stuff and top 40 music. And he was talking about how at the casinos, because you're hired and you're on the job, that they don't allow you to actually drink on the job or gamble. That you have to wait until after you're done or something like that, because you're technically an employee of the casino.
We invented these in the casinos. Now you know why.
Hey, I just saw on Facebook earlier today. There was this person that, you know how everybody's working from home, right? And they have those Zoom meetings where everybody's got their webcam and you're supposed to be working and teleconferencing and all this, right? There's this lady who had a big old mug, and it looked like she had coffee. She was pouring wine into it, and she got a little tea bag, and she cut off the tea bag and just taped the string off of the edge of the cup. So she's drinking like this, and you see the little string hanging. The people think she's drinking tea. Se andan borrachando over there, getting all drunk with the with the wine. No, man.
That was our mugs right here, man. We started the Arctic cups.
¿Verdad? Puro Yeti.
But this is Kool-Aid. This is Kool-Aid, okay?
Kool-Aid. And also,
no.
We got another shout out here. Real quick, a shout out to Chris Rodriguez. It says, "Hi, Jesse Flowers." LOL.
Hey, what's up, Chris, man?
El Crispy.
You know what? I want to give thanks to Chris because he's let me been on his CDs. I think I recorded like 2 or 3 songs with the band. So thank you, Chris, for letting me partake in your productions.
Chris is cool, man. He gives a lot of people opportunities, man. Like I've done some work for him too, and you know, I got to do a song with him and David Lee and Huawei. From Oscar Montemayor, who watches the channel and stuff. You know, they all did a song together, and I was actually on vacation to the Valley, and Chris was all like, "Hey man, what are you doing? Like, come help me out with this song." And
you know what? I think I heard that you're over there with Cavazos.
Yeah, at Chewy Cavazos. Yeah, your tocayo, right?
new sound studio, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, well, Chris did a song with me. He did all the arrangements. I let him take care of it. It was a Beto Ramon song. So he did arranging on it, and he's a fabulous arranger, man. And
oh yeah,
I love his cumbia.
Great ideas.
Awesome, man. I don't know how he does it, but
me neither. But he does.
And he makes the people dance, bro.
I know, man.
I've been there. I'm a witness. Because like I told you that one time, I helped him out, but as well as vocals, not playing or anything. It's just I think his singer was sick, so he wanted to make sure that we had someone else just to cover up in case he did get sick or laryngitis or
Mm-hmm.
something.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, big shout out to Chris and all the band, Tejano 281.
and you took your mug with you, right?
Campa. Victor used to be my bass player, but now he plays with Chris.
Yep. Yep. I remember Victor when he came with you, when he came up this way. Yep.
And the funny part, cuz, is this. I paid Victor. Este le paga con quadruple meat burgers. Victor can eat, bro.
Well, at least you guys could joke around like that. I won't get in the middle of all that. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, we're just joking.
Yeah,
We're cool, man. We've got to help each other, bro.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. No, que no haga envidia.
Yeah,
No jealousy
absolutely.
over anybody else, man. Because in reality, that's the way all artists from different genres of music do it.
Yep.
And we always get the bad rap about it. Nah, he's backstabbing that person, or backstabbing this one. We need to help each other out just like they are.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's people used to try to hoard the information, hoard the knowledge, all for themselves because they were afraid that there wasn't enough to eat for everybody, right? And I think that doing stuff like this, kind of like opens up the field to like everybody exchanging ideas, and you know what I mean? Because that's the thing, is that la envidia es algo que es muy feo, right? Porque lo que pasa es que, you know what I mean? You can, like, I don't know, I know some people don't believe in that, but like in la envidia, like le puedes echar sal at somebody's, mojo or whatever, and like, man, why not just bring in positive energy? You know what I mean? Not just to yourself, but to try to let your light shine onto others, because when everybody's light shines, that's when everybody gets bright. You know what I mean? Real quick, I want to send a shout out going out to ES Tunings and Repair right here from Toledo, Ohio. It says, great job, Rolando. Saludos to Jesse Flores Jr.
Saludos para todos ustedes.
ES Tunings, that's Mr. Eddie Preciado. And by the way, for those of you who are watching who are accordion players, whether you be diatonic or piano accordion players, he does a fine job, an excellent job of tuning accordions. So that's a little plug for him there. If you guys, people send him reeds from all over the country, and he does a great job. He did one of my accordions over here, which reminds me, I still owe you some studio time.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah,
say hello to him and everybody in Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah, thank you. Primo. So what else, man? Do you want to play another song, or do you want to, what do you want to do, man? Like, unless you're ready to go, and we can just cut it off right here or whatever.
No, I can do a song. Let me see if I can remember this song. Let me see. Si tú vuelves conmigo, te enseñaré el amor. Si regresas conmigo, los amaré. Te amaré un millón de veces y te querré toda una eternidad. Te amaré un millón de veces y jamás me There you go.
Sounds great, cuz. Sounds great. Well, Primo, thank you so much for your time. It was awesome having you on here. I appreciate that you took time out of your day to do this and to help my little
My
channel here.
quarantine time.
Huh?
My quarantine
Your
time.
quarantine
Yes.
time. You could have been doing other things like, I don't know, eating.
Yeah, I know. No, thank you, Primo, for inviting me to your show.
Anytime, brother.
Everybody,
And
big hat off to www.tejanokeyboard.com. That's what you gotta be watching all the time, okay?
thank you.
De parte de mí, Jesse Flores, y de parte de toda la familia, thank you, cuz, for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. And before you sign off, we got another shout out. We want to send a shout out going out to Oscar Hernandez. Says, "Sing it, bro." So shout out going out to you and on behalf of
What's
Oscar.
up, Oscar?
And también again to Eddie Preciado. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. This means so much to me, and it means so much to everybody. I think that has been doing these interviews, and one thing that I've talked about with other people is that these interviews, each keyboard player brings something different to the table. You know what I mean? Some guys are more theoretical. There's some guys who just jam more. There's a couple singer players like you and Mark Ledesma, and so it's cool to just see everybody's perspective on like what we do, as keyboard players.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you so much for doing this for me, and if you guys enjoy these interviews, subscribe to the channel, like the videos. If you guys want to donate to keep the website maintained, help me pay for the the URL that GoDaddy keeps on charging me for every month. You guys,
well, let me know, cuz. Send me something, email, so I can send you something.
Yeah,
I want to
absolutely.
send a big shout out to you. It was an honor because I look up at you as well, man. You
Thank
know
you.
so much, and I love how you organize your stuff. You're into the theory of everything and how to layer this, how to layer that. I mean, your chord progressions. I play real simple, and I think to me, all musicians have their own talent and their own way of how to play. So you gotta respect that, and I respect that about you, and I respect about everybody else as well that are keyboards. Like Rick Fuentes, you might get him. Oscar Solis is another guy, like legendary Oscar Solis. You can get him as well, get an interview with him.
Yep,
He's
absolutely.
been around, so
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
So just to let you guys know a little bit of what's coming up, I haven't actually made the flyer yet, but let's see if I can get this up without losing you there, Jesse. Let me see. Just because I want to make sure that I'm not lying to y'all. I have the flyer already made up, and we'll be putting it up on Facebook and on the website here. Let's see here. I know next week for sure. Man, can you believe it? It's Cinco de Mayo next weekend already, or next week. Cinco de Mayo.
No
Man.
celebration here, buddy.
That's crazy. So let me see here. Make sure that I lost you for a second, but I'll bring Jesse back up here in a sec. Next week we have Chris Guerrero from Joe Posada. He's also the house keyboard player there for Gilbert Velasquez and Velasquez Music. We're gonna have also Danny Fernandez from David Ligarse Los Musicales, Ben Ramos from Mas, and we're also going to have Miguel Ortega from Stampede. So we have all those people that are coming up. Thank you for the background music.
Sorry,
there,
I didn't interrupt. I was putting it in the background.
Oh, you know what else? There's that one, and then there's this one.
You got me there.
That's the other one from the Pee Wee Herman, right?
Yeah. No, because once again, man, thank you for everything, and send a big shout out to your family, your wife, and the kids.
Thank
the
you.
kids, right? You got two now? One.
I've got one. I've got Rolando the Third.
Okay.
Yep.
That's right. I don't know why I thought you were having another baby.
No.
But anyways,
Well, I mean, who knows? From your mouth to God's ears, man, because, we kind of want to before we get too old to have any more kids, you know what I mean? We, maybe like another one or something, but we'll pray on it and see what happens and whatnot. But
awesome,
again,
man. And again, I'm a grandpa of 5 already, so I don't need kids like on my own. I got them already. So, but anyways, thank you once again, buddy. And big shout out to everybody. Keep on jamming. Don't let it stop. Learn, because you never stop learning.
absolutely.
That's what I can say.
So, hey, Cuz,
love y'all.
Cuz, stand by for a second. I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody, and next week, Chris Guerrero from Joe Posada. Be sure to check that out. That's gonna be a good one. All right, we'll see you guys next time.